Hi everybody, it's Mr. Marty doing the very first pop-up class from here at Civic Theater in front of the Peggy Cranfield Memorial Library in the McConnell Classroom. So this is the first of a series of workshops that we're going to be offering online every weekday at 2 p.m. that you can tune into and learn about Junior Civic. Learn things that maybe you've already learned and some things you might not have learned. The very first one that we're doing today is I'm going to talk to you about our breathing technique and how we breathe, and also do our vocal warm-ups so you guys can warm up at home when you're feeling like you need to warm up, okay? So let's go to the old handy easel here, Mr. Marty's favorite teaching tool. So old school, right? So what, if I was going to ask you, is the most important thing about singing? What is it? You speak, I can't hear, a little louder. Who is that? Do I hear Dylan Aquaviva? Do I hear Ted Klinger there? Who is it? Oh, you're right. It's breathing. Yep, the most important thing about singing is breathing. You're all doing it right now, I hope. And in these days, it's more important than ever, as long as you're 6 feet away from somebody. All right, so breathing. Where does breathing begin? That's right, the diaphragm. Now that's a big, weird word. Look at all of those silent letters in there. Diaphragm. What is the diaphragm? That's right, it's a muscle. A muscle, it's the biggest muscle in your body. And where is it located? Right here, right around your midsection, your torso, your abdomen. Some of us have larger diaphragms than others. When we are inhaling, breathing in, the diaphragm does what? Correct. It expands, like filling up a balloon with air, all right? And when we exhale, the diaphragm does what? It contracts. That's right. This is the active part, the contraction, okay? Expanding and contracting. Let's try it. Everybody stand up straight, feet shoulder width apart, shoulders slightly back, head nice and relaxed on top of your body. Take your hands and place them on your belly button, all right? And we're just gonna breathe. This is something we don't normally think about, right? The body, the brain does it for us all day, every day, and all night, every night. Think about that. If you had to think about breathing, wouldn't that be all you'd be able to do, right? Oh, I better inhale. Ooh, time to exhale. Oh God, it's time to inhale again, okay. Exhale. All the time, that's all you'd think about. And then, you know, when you went to sleep, bad news. So, again, place your hands here on your belly button and just breathe for a minute. What you should notice is, when you inhale, the diaphragm expands and your hands go out. And when you exhale, the diaphragm contracts and air exits your body, right? So an expansion on the inhale, and a contraction on the exhale. And we can physically control that exhalation, right? We can physically control the contracting, which is the active part, okay? So now we're gonna do a little breathing together, and we're gonna do it on counts. We're gonna inhale for 4 counts, and then we're gonna hiss out for 8, okay? So everybody ready? Stand up straight, feet shoulder width apart. And we're gonna inhale for 4 counts through your nose. Ready? And inhale. And exhale, hiss it out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Inhale for 4. And hiss. 2, 3, 4. Keep hissing. 5, 6. Get it all out. 7, 8. Inhale. And exhale. Hiss. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's inhale again for 4, and this time exhale for 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Control it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale. And hiss. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, good job. Good job. If you're feeling a little lightheaded, that's perfectly normal. You've just inhaled and exhaled a lot of oxygen. So take a moment, center, all right? And we're back. Good. So, breathing, we got it down. Diaphragm, muscle, expanding and contracting. So now we've got air flowing, right? We've got air flowing in and out of our bodies. And the first place this air passes as it exits our lungs. Now I hope none of you said that lungs were where breathing began, because that's not true. The lung is just a gelatinous blob. It's an organ. It has a completely different function. It transfers oxygen to your bloodstream and takes out the carbon dioxide. It does not do the breathing. The diaphragm does the breathing, okay? But air does go in and out of your lungs. And when you are exhaling that air out of your lungs, it passes through this region just here in your neck, right? Past something we call, anybody? The larynx, yes! It's our favorite body part, the larynx! All right, inside the larynx, also known as, what is it? The voice box. That's right, because that's where your voice comes from, okay? Inside the larynx is another muscle. Anybody know what that is? I think you do. I think I hear it being called out there. Who was that? Who was that? Was that Lillian Nottingham I heard? Vocal cords, that's right. The vocal cords are also a muscle. And we can cause this muscle to work for us, just like everything else in our body. All the muscles that help us move and blink our eyes and wiggle our toes, right? We can cause the vocal cords to do what? Vibrate. That's right. They vibrate, okay? Now, if you were to take a camera and look down your throat, and you can actually find it online if you want to see the inside of your larynx, you can. All right? You would notice that stretched across the trachea, right in your larynx, are the vocal cords, and it's like the head of a drum, and there's a slit through the middle, all right, where air can pass freely, all right? And we can sit silently and all day, breathe in and out and not ever say a word, so the vocal cords are at rest. However, when we're ready to do some talking, or we're ready to do some singing, we ask those vocal cords to vibrate. And so they slap together like this. And if you speak in a really high-pitched voice, they're going very fast. And if you speak in a very low-pitched voice, they slow down a little bit. All right? But it's just like any other musical instrument, like when you strum a guitar, or you hit a key on the piano that hits the string. The vibration creates something. What does that vibration create? Sound. That's right, sound, everyone. Not noise, sound. All right? So, now we have sound. We've taken our breathing, forced the air through our larynx by the contraction of the diaphragm, caused those vocal cords to vibrate, creating sound. You know what? There are a lot of creatures on the earth that can make sounds. But we are an advanced, intelligent species, maybe the most intelligent on the planet Earth. I guess we are the most intelligent on the planet Earth, I don't know. So we can take that sound and we can turn it into something that we use to communicate with, all right? And that is language, all right? Language. So now we're talking, we're communicating with one another, but it doesn't just happen. There are parts of our body that make it happen, okay? The first part that we're going to talk about is something called, anyone? Big long word, begins with an A. The articulators. Oh yes. Articulators, everyone say it. Articulators, that's right. Okay, there are 4 articulators. All right, who knows? Who can tell me one? All right? Oh, that's right, Teddy Epstein. Lips. Good for more than just kissing, I like to say. All right. Lips. What's another one? Oh, yes, teeth. Teeth are one. What's another one? No, not your finger. That's not an articulator. I mean, I guess you can articulate with your finger if you're pointing at people. Lips, teeth, what? Tongue, yes, tongue is another one. And then the final one, kind of the tricky one, something that's got a weird name, the palate. The palate is the roof of your mouth, and it has 2 parts, hard palate and soft palate. Right? Let's try it. Everyone say the word bob. Bob. What articulator are we using there? Bob. That's right, lips. Also the word pop. Pop. Using just the lips. All right? Those are called plosive consonants. Bob and pop, B and P, are created using the lips. Everyone say the word tooth. 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 Yeah, so let's think about what articulators we're using there. Tooth. So to make of T, we touch our tongue to the hard palate, the roof of our mouth right in the front, right there. That's the hard palate. All right, to make So we've got those two things going on, tongue and palate. Then what's the next part of the word? Ooh, 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 tooth. We are using our lips to make the ooh sound, right? Tooth. Good. Then what about the TH sound? What's that? Oh my gosh, it's my tongue between my teeth. So we're using all 4 of these things to make the word tooth. So go ahead and try some words on your own. What are some words you use every day? And try to figure out what articulators you are using, okay? Then, once we have our language going on, oh, let's get a better color here, okay? We've got language, we've created the language, we're using our articulators. We have to amplify the language because especially when we're on stage and we're in front of a room full of people, we want them to be able to understand the story we are telling. So we have to project our voice, okay? And we do that using the resonators. Resonators. They resonate. They bounce sound. The room I'm standing in right now is a giant resonator. You hear the sound sort of bouncing around in here, okay? So parts of your body do this for us as well. They are, oh, let me get down on my knee, oh my God. Okay, I'm fine. All right, resonators. We have the oral and nasal passages. What in the heck? So clinical. Oral and nasal passages. Anything to do with your mouth or your nose. All these open spaces here in the front of your face help to amplify sound. Something called the sinuses. Sinuses, oh my gosh. Hollow spaces in your skull that, when they're hollow, bounce sound around. Now, you've all heard of a sinus infection, and that when that happens, your sinuses fill up with mucus, and there's nowhere for that sound to bounce around, which is why it sounds really funny when you talk, when you have a cold, okay? Oral and nasal passages, sinuses. What about our good friend, the larynx? So yes, right here where your vocal cords are located, sound can bounce around there as well. Then we have the throat. All right, anything to do back in the space where you swallow and all that open space in the back there, throat. And then we also talk about the chest. Yes, the chest is a resonator. If you put your hands here and say, ah, you will notice vibration, right? That is sound bouncing around. That's it, friends. Shall we review really quickly? Let's go back. Da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-da. I can't get this page to turn. Okay, here we go. The most important thing about singing is breathing. That's right. Breathing begins with what? The diaphragm, which is a muscle. And when we inhale, the diaphragm expands, and when we exhale, it contracts and pushes air out our bodies past our larynx, also known as the voice box, wherein are located the vocal cords, which are also a muscle, which we then cause to vibrate, which creates sound. That's right. Then we as intelligent human beings turn that sound into a language using the articulators, the lips, the teeth, the tongue, and the hard and soft palate. And then we amplify the sound using our resonators, the oral and nasal passages, the sinuses, the larynx, the throat, and the chest. And that, my friends, are the mechanics of breathing. I'll be right back with vocal warm-ups. Okay, hi, I'm back. Behind the piano where I feel most at home. We're gonna do some vocal warm-ups. So these are things you can do every day at home. They're the ones that I use in classes and in rehearsals. So feel free. They're pretty quick and pretty easy and just meant to kind of get our voices going and singing. All right, and warming up our articulators, right? Remember those? Okay, so the first one. ki, ko, ku. Say it again with me. Ka, ke, ki, ko, ku. Goes like this. Ka, ke, ki, ko, ku. That's right. Keep singing. Give me a big K. Yeah, you warm up that soft palate. Excellent. Next is ningy, 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 ningy. Like the word ring, but ning with an E on the end. Goes like this. Ningy, 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 ningy. Now you do. You got it going. Ningy, 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 ningy. Ningy, 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 ningy. Maybe you can scratch your face. Ningy, 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 ningy. Should be very nasal sounding. We're pulling all that sound up and forward. Don't go down to the top. One more. Very good. Good. Good job anyway. Okay. Next, we're doing our vowels. We're going to start on an ooh, a nice round ooh. We round out our lips. Our tongue should be right down behind our bottom teeth, pushing slightly like you're trying to push your bottom teeth out of your head, but don't do that. All right? Ooh. Here we go. That's right. And this doesn't have to be loud. It's just gentle and easy, getting our voice nice and warmed up. Change to O. Change to ah. Drop your jaw. Ah. Excellent. Now keep that same placement and change to eh. And to E. Spread it out. And back to ooh. Wake up your face. Raise those eyebrows. Good. Now while we're down here in the basement, we'll start with mina, mina, mine. Not yours, but mine. Mina, mina, mine. Goes like this. Mina, mina, mine. Mina, mina, mine. Mina, mina, mine. That's right. Nice and strong. Work that jaw. Mina, mina, mine. Mina, mina, mine. Keep going. Excellent. Does everyone know their alphabet? Let's hope so. That's the next exercise. It's not the alphabet song you might be used to, but it's a good workout for our articulators. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Spit it out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Did you keep up? If you didn't, I win. It's all right. Finally, we do Zelamine. Say it with me. Zelamine. Nice big breath following the scale down. Zelamine. Think of it as one big arc like a rainbow. and nobody wanted to hear me sing that. That's why I stopped. All right? So there are your vocal warm-ups. You can do those every day if you want. Tune back into our next pop-up video, which will be coming up tomorrow at 2 o'clock. It's going to be exciting.